Hey guys, today I'm going to show you 5 stocks that are going to absolutely blow up over the next 4 or 5 weeks. So stay with me and watch as we uncover some explosive stocks that look to be going much, much higher. So today we're going to look at, first of all, ANTX, which we called out a few days ago and is now up. Let's see from the breakout. Is now up 300% in 4 days. If you can wrap your head around that, absolutely extraordinary price explosion there on AN2, ANTX ticker therapeutics. And if I blow it up so we can actually see what's happened. So we could have gotten in here, really, let's be honest. And on this big pop, that's a bit of a breakout there. Someone's dropping 458,000 shares there, which isn't a lot of money. It's about $500,000. And then as we zoom out a little bit, so we spotted it here just back on Wednesday last week, and lo and behold, this could be the next ERAS. It has just absolutely blown up. So if you jumped in there on the breakout, you could have pocketed yourself a very nice 200%, or if you watch the market during the day, you could have gotten a 300% return in just a couple of days. So it's had a little bit of a pullback post-market or pre-market. And this is one worth watching. It's absolutely bonkers. ANTX. Let's check out the news of ANTX and what's actually happening with this crazy stock. What's driving the action? Not telling us. Share trading high after the company announced it entered into a securities purchase. Placement of common shares. Okay, interesting. So let's watch ANTX and see what it does over the next few days. Absolutely bonkers. Okay, next stock. Now this has got ERAS written all over it. This is exactly the same thing what ERAS did a few weeks ago. It was trading along, doing absolutely nothing. In fact, this one was trending way down, and someone got a nice early here for $1, and they dropped 100 million on this stock. Mental. And it's had an explosive run. As you can see, a little bit of a pullback the next day when the shares dropped down quite radically compared to their 100 million drop. And then it has just absolutely blown up. So that was kind of your buy signal. That was your buy signal, and this was definitely a buy signal. And how much has it gone up in just a few days? This is the magic of small caps, guys. And if we got in here on the pullback, you could have just dropped yourself a 500% trade in the space of 9 days. 3, 6, 9 days, or 7 days actually. Wow. I mean, wow, seriously, wow. So it's gone up again pre-market, and it just is on an absolute tear. So EDSA, I mean, there's plenty buy signals here. There's a buy here, there's a buy here, there's a buy there, and this is another buy. I'm not actually in this trade, but I'm very tempted and very excited about it. So that's kind of wild, EDSA. Talk. So we clocked it a few days ago on the pop, and they had great earnings, and someone dropped 10 mil, maybe 40 million on there. And it's had that in a really nice pullback, didn't get down to the 20-day moving average, and is now tottered along and then popped. During the day, someone's dropping 50 mil there, times 4, $200 million. Nothing to see here. And it just jumped 10% overnight. How cool is that? And so that's worth watching as well. Talk, which I did a short about back here on 19th of Feb. So that's a pretty tasty little trade. You could have gotten here in the pop. I would have waited for the pullback, personally. And at 20%, how lovely is that? INT, speaking of trades I'm in, INT is just a lovely little stock, isn't it? And I got in because I thought this is just going up and up, so I'm going to get in on this one. That was kind of your buy. I mean, anything can happen after a gap up, but it's looking really good. That's had a bit of a pullback here, so that's okay. I'll be in a loss position there because I got in right on the peak of that candle there, and it's come back down. But let's see what happens. I've got my stop in at 10%, so I got in at 13.72, and 10%, that's my stop loss, which is $1.30, so 12.40. Yeah, we're sitting around the 12.30. and hopefully it'll have a little bit of a pullback and carry higher. The other trade I'm very excited about is PXS. This is really tasty, isn't it? It's had this really nice breakout on good volume, has gone up super high, and is coming back down on lower volume, and that is quite high volume there, but it's had a nice jump after earnings, and post market is up again, and this 20-day moving average is looking really solid. So I like the look of this one. I don't think it's going to be too long until it hits the 460 again and breaks out, but we'll watch it. I quite like it. And on to this one now, BGS, B&G Foods. I think they had a disappointing earnings with that red mark. They missed it, but there may be other hidden agendas in there. And it's had that huge pop up to 630, and it's come back down and it's jumped again. So this is also worthwhile looking at. So I'll just put a little blue line in there, and that's when we started watching it. Grace is another interesting one. It's a little bit up and down, a bit volatile for my taste. I drew a trend line here, which is basically just the 50-day moving average, let's face it. And by the dip, so I should have bought in there. I haven't yet. I was waiting for that. I didn't want it to collapse and get shafted if it was going to keep falling. But wow, look at that. How's that bounce? It's really nice. So bounce off the bottom of the averages there, and it's gone up 10% in just a couple of days. So that's looking pretty good. I like that. And that trend line has been respected. So that's a kind of a buy signal there for me. You might get into that one. SFL is just the most mental trade ever. Huge breakout. Look at that. And you could have gotten in there for a very cheeky 10% in just a few days. LINC is also quite nice. This is where we spotted it. The blue line denotes where I start talking about the stock. So that's pretty cool, isn't it? And you can just get in there, can't you? You can just get in there and run it up, and that's how the stock market is an ATM machine for yourself. You can just take 30% out. If you drop $1,000 on there, if you drop 30 grand in there, you know, you can make $10,000 in just a few days. Isn't that rad? That's totally rad. So it looks like to be consolidating and pulling back a little bit. When it pops up above $37, that's another buy signal, so we might want to get into that one. KZR, that's looking pretty strong too. Volume's dropping off though, so approach with caution, and it's popped up in post-market trades. NUP has had a ginormous pullback, so that could be the time to get in. It's found support, which was of course previous resistance at around $4.28, which is quite nice. And I think that's about the most exciting trades right now. That's kind of consolidating. Back is pretty wild. It's had that ginormous pop and the volume just scaling right up, and on the pullback, volume dropping off. Somebody knows something. How many millions? 10 mil, 40 million getting dropped in there. And so this looks pretty good also. I haven't put in the legendary blue line, but we should put that in there because that's when we started watching it. LXU, wow, what a run. So good. Just a mental run, and that's your buy, right? A good earnings and a big pop, and you can just get in there and get in and get out. The stock market is your cash machine, and just use that, and you can get if you're watching the market, you can get up and get 27% in just a few days. Absolute gold mine. This is kind of interesting, isn't it? So the trend line is shooting up on ABOS, and I expect it to come back down and just carry on that trend. So that looks pretty nice. A green candle might be the buy there. CNTX, that's also pretty nice, isn't it? $2.80, super cheap micro cap, and it's popped and had a little bit of a pullback. It's back now at $2.79. I would keep watching that. It will probably come back to here somewhere, I think, and then carry on. So anything above $3.10 is probably a buy. If we look at my folio now, let's have a look. So I got stopped out of a few stocks last week, which kind of sucked. So let's get into it. So nice trend line here, going up and up and up, looking quite good. And then it went all the way up to there and then kind of pulled back quite savagely. So I got stopped out for a 10% loss. So that kind of sucked, but I don't dwell on these things. Upwards and onwards. Getting stopped out is all part of the trade. And this is just mental. Look at this. I got absolutely shafted here. So it got in at 525 and it was going up very nicely, a little 4% trade, and then just smashed down on huge volume. And I'd moved my stop up super, super tight because it had gone up all the way to here. I thought, oh well, I'll move my stop loss up. Probably should have moved up a little bit tighter so there was zero loss there, but I got stopped out for like a 2 or 3% loss, which is not a big deal because my initial entry was only 0.1% of my entire folio. So tiny, tiny, tiny percentages. So I don't really mind. And this one again, similar sort of pattern, hey? I got stopped. I got in here, possibly a bit too late. And I went all the way up and again smacked down really hard. So I think that might have been the war. I'm blaming the war. But what I really should have done was, it's my mistake, I should have got in there. And that would have been a very tasty 40%. So a bit late to the party there. If, you know, a 2-week run is pretty good and 40% is totally awesome. So there we go. That was last week. On a brighter note, ERAS is just the stock that continues to keep on giving. It's mental. So I got in way back here and I thought 100% in just a few days, 1, 2, 3. I thought I'll take that. So I took my 100%, very happy, and it stopped me out at 100%. I thought, I'm not losing my 100% trade, no way. And then it stopped me out and I thought, well, that's fine because that's the end of that. And lo and behold, ERAS just went absolutely berserker and I missed out on the sort of 200% trade. But not to fear though, because eventually, after being sidetracked with my YouTube channel for a very long time, I got back in and I thought, well, it's going to come down now finally. And God almighty, it jumped up yet again. And so I'm back in the trade, 100 shares at 12.53. Small potatoes, $1,200, but that's my risk reward ratio on a $80,000 folio. And I'm into this now and it's just gone up and 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 up. And you know, this is what trading is all about, right? Keeping stop losses very small and letting your winners run. And that's the psychology of it all. So I've moved the stop loss up to 14.52, which means that I have kind of locked in my, whatever it is, I've locked in my 15%, so I'm quite happy with it, as I say in New Zealand. And will I move it up even higher? Post-market, it's gone up a little bit. I'm going to let it breathe. This stock has only ever come down, you know, what does it say? 9%. And that's probably around 9%, isn't it? It's something like that. So let's have a look. Yeah, so 8%. I'm happy to let it breathe a little bit. That pullback there was pretty minuscule. That's probably about 5% at the time. Oh, that was a 10% pullback also. So I guess if you did some kind of wacky arithmetic around an average true range, which is what some traders do, maybe the average true range would be about 10%. I don't do average true ranges, but that's about 10%. So I think a 10% movement is totally fine. This is just the most insanely brilliant stock in the history of the world of all time. I'm very happy with it. And I'm so glad I got back in, because if I'd missed out on this run, I'd probably kill myself. So don't want to be doing that. I'm also in INTT. It's my 2 trades for now. I'm probably a bit late to this party as well. It's come back now. I've got my stop loss in at 12.31, which is 10% of 13.72. And we'll see how this goes. This looks like it's going to come back and do a bit of consolidation. But if it carries on this rather... Oops, wrong one. If it carries on this rather lovely trend line here, if the software is going to work, if it carries on this trend line, you know, that'll be pretty nice, but it may well come down and smash through it. But it doesn't really matter because I've got ERAS on the cards and I've got my stop loss in here, which I may well move up pretty soon. So that's the update for today. Some absolute bangers in this watch list here. I think my favorite for just now is EDSA. I'm an idiot. I should have gotten in there. I'm spewing. I don't even know why I missed it. Maybe I just started watching here, but that's it for now. We'll do another monster hunt for stocks in the next couple of days, and that's all for just now. So please like the video if possible. I appreciate the help, and subscribe. That would really help the channel, and check out that other video over there and peace and love. Keep waiting for breakouts, and we'll see you very soon. Cheers.